Welcome, adventurers near and far, to another broadcast from Point Noir, home of the Point Noir podcast, where we not only inspire, but equip men of color to go out and see the world for themselves. I'm your host, Jerry III, aka Kimono Jack, and you're tuned in for the 49th session of the Point Noir podcast. Listen, y'all, we coming up on this podiversary. It's about to be a year of being out here sharing inspiring stories, getting young black men to travel, and supporting men of color in getting their passports. It's been a dope trip. I appreciate you all for hanging on for the ride, and we got some cool stuff coming up for you this month. So if you don't know how to find the review section on iTunes, or you don't follow us on Instagram at Point Noir Show, that's where you want to be tuned into, because the last week of June, after our birthday on Juneteenth, shout out to the culture, is when we're going to be doing our giveaways. So we're going to have two, still getting some things together, but definitely just practice those swipes on the reviews, you know what I'm saying? Put in a test comment, delete it, see what happens. Make sure you follow us, unfollow us on Instagram, just make sure it works, you know what I'm saying? Make sure it's functional and ready for when you need it, because you don't want to miss this giveaway. I usually don't talk about our guests or what we talk about on the show until I do the intro, but you know what? We're going to be talking a lot about Paris. I'll be sharing some of my experience as a tour guide there for a year. My guest happens to be Parisian born and French, and if that kind of whets your appetite to see the city of light, why not come out, kick it with Kimono Jack, and I will be your very own tour guide in the month of October 10th through the 15th. Head to journeytoparis.com. I've collaborated with one of our prior guests, Kenyan, and it's going to be a lit trip. We're going to have yoga. We're going to have a photographer. You're going to have me leading you through not only the daytime monuments and black history in the city, but also the nighttime vibes, making sure you get all that good energy, all that melanated culture that does exist in the city of light. So if that interests you, and if this session right here kind of whets your appetite, get yourself hungry for some baguettes and maybe, some cheb or some yassa poulet, something like that out there in Paris, I got you. So journeytoparis.com. And with all that being said, I think we should introduce today's guest. Yeah, let's do that. Joining us today as our special guest at The Point is Roobens Fils. Roobens is French, an expert solo budget traveler, and an internationally known blogger. Make sure to check out his great work on his travel blog, beenaroundtheglobe.com, and you can definitely follow him on Instagram at beenaroundtheglobe. In this session, we talk random stuff about Paris, the interesting genesis of Roobens becoming a solo budget traveler, and he also does a great job dropping not only resources, but some kind of difficult truths about what it really means to be a solo traveler and being a black man traveling the world. I think there's a lot of positivity in his energy. I love his vibe, and we actually got a chance to kick it in Paris. So you'll get to hear a little bit more about that on the outro, but it was just a great time kicking it with Roobens and sharing perspectives on travel and blackness, what it means to be a black man traveling in this world. So if you love things like that, listen, get ready for another awesome show. Grab your refreshing beverage of choice, find that cozy corner of your couch, sit back, relax, and enjoy today's session from the Point Noir podcast. I'll see you on the flip side. Hey, what's going on, Roobens? Thanks for joining us today at The Point. How are you feeling today, bro?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm feeling great. Thanks for having me here. Having a good time in Paris. The weather is nice. Everything's good.
That's what's up, man. That is a cheerful disposition to start this day. Things are good in Dallas as well. And yeah, man, excited that you're calling in all the way from Paris, France. It's amazing how many people who have been on the show or who listen to the show are just obsessed with Paris. What is it? What's going on with the city?
We all know Paris is the most beautiful city in the world, So basically, everyone just want to see the Eiffel Tower, the Champs-Élysées, all those things, try the nice French food. And yeah, it's also a beautiful and romantic city, so that's why everybody want to go there.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna let these appeals for Paris go for this session, because I know you're coming from there. And yeah, it's a place to definitely explore. I've done a little bit of time there. I say like it's a prison sentence. It wasn't. I've spent quite a bit of time in Paris. But yeah, I think if you're interested in wherever you want to go in the world, definitely go to it. So hopefully you can share some things about Paris with us. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you're French born, right?
Yeah. Born and raised in France. My parents are from Haiti. So
Okay.
they moved in France like before I was born, and yeah, I was born and raised in Paris in 18th arrondissement.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's super dope. So how did you become an adventurer?
I used to have like a regular like 9 to 5 job. You know, I was working for a US website basically. You know Groupon? Have you heard about Groupon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was working. Yeah, I was working there in France, in Paris, and yeah, Groupon used to be very popular here. It's not as popular as it used to be. So basically, they decided to lay off like 100 people. So yeah, so basically they asked me to leave, and I was like, okay, what I want to do with my life right now, and yeah, I was thinking for quite some time about traveling solo by myself, like long-term traveling. So yeah, I decided to leave my apartment, take a backpack, and just travel the world for a year.
Wow. And had you traveled much before then? I mean, growing up in Europe, you have a lot of access to different countries. What was that like?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, before that, I used to travel a lot, like, you know, neighboring countries like the UK, Germany, Spain, Italy, all those countries. I've also been to the US quite often because I have family living there in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've been to, yeah, Tunisia, Australia, different countries before that trip.
Wow. So there was already a bit of the, travel wasn't something new to you.
Exactly. I always love traveling, and I was like, okay, I want to do that. Okay, let's try. So yeah, I traveled for a year by myself.
Wow. And knowing what I know about French culture and especially young working professionals, that was a big move. That's not a very classically French thing to do is one, get laid off. That doesn't happen too often in France, correct?
Exactly.
That doesn't happen too often in Paris. That's a big deal. And then to decide to walk away from your flat, your apartment, which is also a big deal in Paris, and then travel the world for a year, like that was brave.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thank you. But the thing is, I was like, I was kind of fed up with the political stuff at the companies and all those things. And yeah, I need a break because I was working there for like 6 or 7 years. And I was like, okay, I want to do something for me. And yeah, I just decided to leave. Everybody was like, "Are you serious? Are you going to leave?" I'm like, "Yeah, I need some time for me, And yeah, I just left.
I mean, you say it so simply, and as someone who's done it, I know there's so much that goes behind that. So can you talk through more of that process? Because I think it'll be really interesting for people to hear. Like, what were your fears? Did you have any fears or concerns before putting this plan together?
Yeah, basically, I was first I was like, okay, what is it like to go to this or that place as a black person? Because, online you can find a lot of information about safety about this country or that country, but not specifically for black people, So, for instance, you will have a guy who will say, oh, you can go to Russia. It's completely safe out there. But for us, how is it going to be like, So It was like, okay, I want to go there to that country or that place, but I'm not sure if people are going to be welcoming with me as a black person. Mm-hmm. So that was one of my biggest fears, because not finding information online and, not knowing how the locals are going to react seeing me. But at the end, everything went fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that's good. I mean, I think that sometimes from all the guests that have been on the show that they have really good attitudes and are good people.
Yeah.
Good things happen to them no matter where they go. It's just inevitable.
Exactly. Yeah. But, I didn't have like real issues. Yeah, maybe so logical stuff, missing my flight or a bus or a train, whatever. But regarding safety, I didn't have like any real problems there during my trip.
Wow. So let's talk about some of the places you've been and what you've explored and what you've been able to share, because you also have a blog as well. You're a travel blogger.
Yeah. I have a blog called Been Around the Globe. So basically, it was more like a hobby first, like telling my friends where I'm at, what I'm doing, etc., etc. But it kind of grew over time. So now I have like maybe 10K readers every month. So that's cool. Still growing. And now I'm taking it like more seriously. So my blog, so Been Around the Globe, it's been a bit less than 2 years now. But I love blogging, writing, sharing my stories, and I have great feedback, so that's cool.
Yeah, so what are some things that you have observed while traveling the world about being a black man and, being in new countries? What are some interesting experiences you've had?
People are so much, how to say, like prejudice, regarding black people, You go to places with no black people, they look at you, stare at you because they're not used to see like in person, like a black person. So like, oh wow, a black guy. They stare at you, they come up to you, hey, how are you? Where are you from? Can I get a picture with you? They often ask to get pictures, because they're not used to see one, they want to show their friends, hey, I saw a black guy today. So, yeah.
Right. You won't believe it. You'll never guess what happened.
yeah. Exactly. So, yeah, I posed like hundreds of times with a group of friends, with girls, with families who just wanted to get a picture with me. So, yeah.
I like how you pointed out girls. I like how you pointed out girls. That's important. That's important for other men to hear. Ruben's out here posing up with girls.
Yeah. Crazy.
Living the life.
Yeah. In some areas of the world, it's easier for us, You go to, Eastern Europe, Central Asia, like, wow, a black guy. Let's see what it's like, So, so yeah. But, yeah. They ask for pictures. Oh, sometimes, okay. There's also, they talk like Ebonics, but poorly imitated Ebonics, like, hey, yo, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's stereo laws, they ask for pictures. Oh, they compare you to black celebrities. Because they're like, hey, Will Smith, what's up? Hey, how are you? Hey, or basketball players or whatever, or rappers sometimes. Yeah, even if you don't look like them, they just like to compare you to, I don't know, a black person.
That's interesting. And what's even more interesting is the fact that you're Parisian. So that their initial thought of a black man is an American.
Exactly. They're like, oh, you're from Africa. I'm like, no. Oh, you're from America. I'm like, no. But where are you from then? I'm from France. No, you're not French. They don't look like you. I mean, yeah. There are black people in France. I'm French. Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I have to speak French so that they believe me. But yeah, people are like, be wilder. It's like, oh, you're French? I'm like, yeah, I'm French.
Yeah, that's super interesting. That speaks to like the amount of influence that the United States does have internationally. But I'm curious to see do you ever wish that sometimes people thought you were French or thought that French men of color traveled?
Yeah, because it can get annoying, sometimes like, no, you're not, you're American. I don't believe you. Or you're from Africa. I'm like, no, I'm French. They are black people, French people are not just white guys, And yeah, it can be, not annoying, but quite surprising because people think, for each country, they're like a stereotype of people, like certain physique, but actually no.
For you, when it comes to thinking about representation in France, do you think there are opportunities for more travelers of color to be known and to have their work shared and to, encourage other black people in France to travel?
Yeah, sure. But I have to admit there are not many like black travel bloggers in France, There are a bit more in the US, but yeah, there's room for everyone. And I think it should be, there should have been more like black travel bloggers. I mean, French black travel bloggers. Because yeah, the world is not that dangerous and people are nice with us.
Yeah. I mean, but I think when you look at it, from a numbers perspective, there aren't that many black travel bloggers in the US. There's just more of us in the US.
Right. Yeah.
But when you look at it, it's still.
I mean, and the thing is, I had the opportunity to meet like several like black travel bloggers from the US, and I really love the mindset and the everyone's supportive and there's like great like black travel community, and I really like that. The mindset is really really good and supportive. I love it.
Yeah, 100%, especially within that community. I think I found it to be pretty welcoming.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of your adventures. Where are some places that what are some hidden gems that you found that you were completely shocked by, or some experiences that you'll never forget?
I went to Iran. I spent like
lucky dog.
Yeah. I spent 3 weeks there by myself. And the thing is, so when I got there, people are coming up to me on the street. They were asking me, hey, what are you doing here? I'm like, hey, I'm traveling. Traveling here in Iran? I'm like, yeah, but why? I'm like, but why not? I mean, it's a beautiful country. I came here to visit, explore the country. And they are all like, yeah, but in your media over there, in the Western countries, they say we are dangerous, we are terrorists, we are not civilized. I'm like, no. I just want to explore. I know it's not like that. I want to visit your country. And then they're all like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for being curious. I hope you will have a great time there. If you need anything, just ask. And have a great time here in our place. We'll show you how it is, and it's not as dangerous as your media portrays. And indeed, the people were really, really, really nice, hospitable, friendly, and they were making sure everything went fine during my stay.
Yeah, and they have a strong culture of hospitality. The cool thing is, if you really think about it, how great of a feeling would it be to get on an airplane, show up in a country, and people are happy for you to just be there? Like, what a feeling.
Exactly. And the thing is, actually, I was in Georgia and Armenia just before Iran. And I met Iranians there, and I was telling them, hey, I'm going to Iran next. And they're like, oh, really? Just give us a call and we're going to host you. So basically, the 3 weeks I spent in Iran, I didn't spend a single night in a hotel. I was always staying at different places from different locals,
That's great.
Yeah, I was really surprised.
I'm actually jealous because we don't have the permission to go there freely. We have to go with, as U.S. citizens with our U.S. passports, we have to go with designated tours. Our itinerary has to be approved, all this sort of stuff. But Iran is somewhere that I really want to visit. I want to experience.
Yeah, and that's a shame. You guys from the US, from the UK, and from Canada, I think. Yeah, you have to have a guide or something. And you don't have the same perspective when you're with someone with you all day, every day. I was free, so I could, really live like a local and see how it is. Since I was living with locals anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's the way I prefer to travel as well. I'm not used to having tour guides or itineraries. I know they don't really have bars, we'll say, in that way, but I'm used to going to a restaurant or a cafe or a tea house and meeting people and then just finding my adventure from there. So that's amazing you had that experience. Anywhere else that was kind of surprising for you?
I would say Central Asia as well, especially Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan, same thing. People were really nice. People were really friendly. But it was a bit, it was different because this time but they were asking to get pictures like all day, every day. But at the same time, they were also like, hey, we're going to have tea. Come to our place. Hey, we're going to have dinner. Come to our place. Hey, we're having a buffet. Come with us all day, every day. And at first I was like, okay, yeah, I'm coming. But then it lasts like 2 hours because it introduced you to the whole family, grandma, grandpa, the uncle, the aunt, the daughter, the son, the grandkids, and wow, it takes so long. And they all want to get pictures with you, and they're like, have some food. I'm not hungry. I know you're hungry. Eat. So but it was interesting. It was really nice. The country is beautiful, and I was also surprised because people were so surprised to see like a black person in their country. Uzbekistan is not a touristic place, so there are not many tourists anyway, but a black guy over there, wow, they were really shocked.
Yeah, and to be kind of embraced or to at least receive such warmth from the community, the locals, and be invited into people's houses, like those are privileged moments. That's amazing.
Yeah. And actually, the 50-year-old woman, she came up to me and she said, hey, I have my daughter. She's 23. She's still not married. Are you married? I was like, no. Maybe we can try to arrange something. I was like, no, thank you, but that was fun.
Classic.
Yeah, that was fun.
I think if more men of color, especially black men from the States, realized how easy it could be to be approached that way. It happens frequently in many countries. Yeah. Like, it's not too often where somebody randomly comes out the blue in Dallas and be like, hey, you want to marry my daughter?
Yeah, right.
But just to know that you could be appreciated to that degree, I think would impact a lot of men.
Yeah. This is insane. She was like, okay, I know you're a nice guy. I'm pretty sure you're a nice guy. My daughter, she's 23. She needs to get married because over there they get married at like 18 or 20, And she was like, she's 23. She needs someone. I was like, no, I'm fine. Thank you. Thanks for the thought.
Right. Especially coming from a Parisian French perspective. So when I was in Paris, it was like every month I realized somebody had a domestic partner and a kid. And I was like, where are y'all getting these kids from? I had no idea. Because everybody was just really cool. It wasn't a big deal. Whereas in the States, getting married is like sometimes a life achievement.
Really?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Oh, okay.
It's a different parts of the subculture. So once you start getting into the South or the Midwest, or even, everywhere really, just depending on your family values and how you were raised. Marriage is kind of like a lot of pressure. We look at women sometimes in their mid-20s and be like, man, is this ever going to work out for you? Kind of like that mother was in Uzbekistan.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. All right.
Yeah, y'all are real relaxed about it in Paris, which I adore and appreciate, because I had never seen anything like that. I just come from South Carolina, where I was in my early 20s. Almost everybody was getting married at that time.
Oh, wow. That's young.
It's relative, right?
Yeah. Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah. It's a social thing here, where it's like, this is important for you to look and seem established, or this is just how your life is supposed to go. France is definitely more progressive, even with the unions. Like, same-sex marriages are not accepted everywhere here in the States, where France is like, yo, we do not give a shit.
Yeah, exactly. We don't really care. And as you said, in France, especially in Paris, people either get married in their maybe early 30s or not at all. Sometimes I know a lot of couples who have like kids and they're not married, they don't really care. Like, okay, that's fine. Like, it's not that important. Yeah, they don't care.
And the freedom and the space to kind of choose in the States, a lot of times some people believe that you can't successfully raise a child unless you are married, unless you have two parents always present in the household. But I was like, no, I've been to Paris. I've seen some very happy children, some very happy couples that just decide we're going to commit to each other. We don't need all the paperwork. And it's a lot of them, isn't it?
Exactly. A lot of them. Yeah. And I told you, I know a lot of couples who are not married. They have kids and they're happy.
Happy. That's the objective. We kind of like to overlook that sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So this is fascinating. So as a cultured person who's out here traveling, sharing your perspective, what are some of the favorite ways you like to travel? Are you always a solo traveler? Do you prefer staying in hostels, hotels, Airbnb? Like, what's your vibe when you go out into the world?
So the thing is, I love solo travel. So basically, I try to travel solo whenever I can. I mean, before that, I used to travel with friends or girlfriend or whoever, family. But the freedom you have when you're traveling solo is just amazing. You do whatever you want to do, no compromise. You want to go there, you just go there. You want to stay more, you stay more. You want to leave, you just leave. You want to party, you go party. You're tired, you want to sleep, you just go to sleep. Yeah, I love solo travel. I usually don't plan too much. I mean, I know where I want to go. I know more or less what I want to do. But I'm not like strictly planning like every single minute what I have to do.
Yeah.
I just go with the flow. And I'm more like a budget traveler, I would say. So I mean, that means I usually stay in hostels. So sometimes I get my own room. Sometimes I sleep in dorms, like not big dorms, but like dorms. And I just go to the common area and just, talk to people. Hey, where are you from? How long are you staying? And that's it. So solo, I would say budget solo traveler. That would define me quite well.
No, that makes perfect sense. And how can someone become a budget solo traveler? What are some things that they need to think about when traveling solo rather than in groups? And how about finding the best deals for, lodging?
Well, for lodging, usually I just go on like the famous websites, like Booking and all those things. I check everything, the location, the prices, the reviews, everything. And, at first it takes time, but over time you get experience, it gets easier. Now I don't take more like 20 minutes to find like a good, correct accommodation.
So for the accommodations, you mentioned famous websites, but let's pretend that I've never traveled before. What are some good websites to start with to get good reviews?
Okay. You can check Booking first. Booking, I think, is the most famous. Booking.com, you can check Agoda.com. Agoda is more like specialized for like Asia, but they also have hotels like all over the world, but mostly in Asia. So you have Agoda.com. You have Hostelworld.com if you're into hostels, basically. You have hotelscombined.com. So it's an aggregator and find like the cheapest deals. So you just type a city and it will tell you, okay, on Booking.com it's that price, on Agoda it's that price, and etc. Okay. What else? Oh, we have a website called Jumia Travel, but it's specialized in Africa. So if you're traveling in Africa, you can try it. It's called JumiaTravel.com. And that's it. Then you have Airbnb if you want an apartment. You have car surfing if you want to stay for free in a place. And I think that's it.
That's a hefty list. I appreciate it because I hadn't heard of most of those sites. I don't do hostels too often. I do Airbnbs a lot.
Yeah, I do Airbnbs every now and then. It depends. Sometimes. But usually I usually start with Booking.com.
And what about some considerations for being a solo traveler? Like, how do you think about your safety? How do you know if you trust people that you meet when you're out in public, at bars and hostel pub crawls and stuff?
What I do, I watch a lot, I stay on the back, just watch people, how they are, how they behave. I look at, the look. It's very important, the way they look at people. And yeah, the attitude, the body language. It's everything, you watch all those things and yeah, I tend to watch a lot before, I stay in the back, just watching people, don't talk much at first. And then I come up to people and I start talking,
So you kind of survey and assess the room. You try to get a feel for what's going on.
Exactly. I'm not that guy, going up, hey, what's up, screaming and getting drunk and all that. No.
Okay, not so much screaming. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I don't know many loud French people like that.
Yeah, yeah, no, we're not like that. And yeah, that's it. I just I tend to watch and just assess the situation, see how it is.
But what about traveling solo? I mean, so many things can happen. I've benefited from being in groups at times where I've gotten sick or I haven't felt well or was just really lost. How do you manage some of the negative sides of always being by yourself, whether that be in terms of health or safety or just even being lonely? How do you manage all that?
Yeah, to be really honest with you, so I traveled for a year. The first 9 months, everything was fine, I was just having fun traveling here and there. And after 9 months, I started to get a bit lonely. I was missing my friends. I was missing my family. I was like, should I go back home or should I keep traveling? And yeah, the things to do is you just have to call people, call your friends, call your family, tell them you miss them, tell them you want to see them. Yeah, that's what I used to do. I used to talk a lot to friends and family when I was feeling lonely. Regarding safety, I check the internet a lot. I do a lot of research before. Okay, is it safe? How are people? Is everything going to be fine? And yeah, always get in a new place, daytime. Never at night. Never. Always daytime, So 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 4, 5 p.m., but never nighttime. So it's easier for me to go to my hotel or, just assess the place, And yeah, I check the websites a lot, and I check how it is, the safety, all those things. And yeah, being lonely, if you're traveling solo, yeah, you experience a lot of great things, and you don't have nobody to share with. So yeah, you can talk to your friends on on the internet. I did this, I did that, but it's not the same when you're with someone. So yeah, at the end I was like, yeah, it's too bad. I lived a lot of things. I went through a lot of good things and all by myself. So yeah, that's the bad side, I would say, about traveling solo. But at the end of the day, it outweighs being solo is still nice, Yes, you're experiencing things by yourself, but still you're having a great time. You wouldn't have staying home. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I appreciate your honesty and transparency talking about that, because it's not always easy. There are a lot of solo travelers who we don't get to hear the negative side about it. And sometimes it looks easy, but after 9 months, yeah, that shit can get lonely.
Yeah, and the thing is, so after 9 months, I was in Indonesia. It was in February, and I was really hesitating. Should I go back home or should I keep traveling? And the thing is, I checked in Paris back home. It was like 10 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees. It was really cold. It was snowing and everything.
Right.
And in Indonesia, it was like 90 degrees. I had a swimming pool like just next to my hotel. So like, no, I cannot go back home now. So yeah, right. I kept traveling for like 2 or 3 more months. And then I went back home.
And have you found that writing with your blog and publishing content has helped to kind of alleviate some of that loneliness? Have you been able to interact with people and meet people through your blog?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know the power of the internet really, because I was just posting stuff. And, after a few weeks, I started to get messages from people I didn't even know. I was like, hey, how did he find out my blog? And, yeah, people asking me for advice. Hey, I'm going to, I don't know, Hungary, Romania, Colombia, whatever, South Africa. I'm a black guy. Is it fine? Everything's good? I'm like, how did you find me? And,
Right.
I was quite surprised. I was like, wow, people are actually reading my stuff, And I think that was a good thing to blog during my trip, because at least I had something to do, in the evenings, writing, editing photos, all that. It was kind of like a job during my gap year, you know. Yeah, I really liked it. The feedback was great. I get messages from people like, "Hey, I saw you're in Cambodia. I'm in Cambodia as well. If you want to meet up, let's meet up." Oh yeah, why not? And I met traders in Southeast Asia, and I was quite surprised. Like, wow, people are reading my stuff. Actually, there was a girl who booked a trip in Kyrgyzstan after reading my article about Kyrgyzstan. Whoa,
Wow.
that's a great feeling, you know. And so yeah, having a blog was definitely a good thing during my trip.
And the ability to impact people that might have never taken that step without reading your content. That's pretty inspirational, bro.
Yeah. And the thing is, I'm not a big blogger, and like, whoa, people read my articles. So yeah, that's a great feeling.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you, most of your response, you do blog in English. Do you find that the Black men that are asking you questions and being engaging with your content, do they tend to come from America or tend to come from France?
So the thing is, my blog is actually bilingual. It's in English and French as well.
Ah.
So yeah. It's not just in English. Yeah, you can switch from English to French if you want to. So but I would say most of my readers are from France, but I have a lot of feedback from the US as well. So I would say I get messages from French people mostly, and
Okay.
then the US and then the UK. Yeah, I would say French, US,
Okay.
UK first. Yeah.
Got you. No, I'm seeing that right now on the website. I missed the little button.
Yeah, on the top right. Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of language, because that's one of the places I think is really interesting to engage from is by learning the language of where you're going. I taught myself French while I was out in Paris. How have languages been able to empower you to communicate better when you travel? Do you speak anything outside of French and English?
Yeah, I also speak Spanish. So yeah, in Asia it's not that useless. But if I go to Spain or South America, yeah, Spanish you always speak Spanish, so it's useful. But I tend to learn languages quite easily. I don't know why, that's a thing I have. So yeah, wherever I go, I try to learn like a few basics, like hello, thank you, how are you, goodbye, basic stuff. It's like an icebreaker when you go to a local and you say like hello in his language, like whoa. Wow, we're all surprised, like, hey, you speak our language? Like, no, just know a few words, but and they're happy, and it's it's an icebreaker, and it's easier than to ask for things, they're more willing to help. So yeah, for instance, after a few weeks in Central Asia where they speak Russian, I could speak a little bit of Russian and understand a few words, but it's definitely helpful, being able to say hello, how are you, thank you. At the end of the day, I could understand as well. Where are you from? Because people kept asking me, "Where are you from?"
Right.
What's your name as well? Because people kept asking me, "What's your name?" in Russian. And it's definitely a good thing. It's something I recommend to everyone. Wherever you go, try to learn like basic words like "Hello," "How are you?" "Thank you," "Goodbye." That's it.
Yeah, and it's only like 8 phrases too. It's
Yeah.
like, just like you said, my name is, or I'm from,
Yeah.
or thank you. God, please say thank you. Just say thank you.
Yeah.
It goes so far. Even in Paris, I was a tour guide there, and I would tell people when you approach someone, just say, "Excusez-moi, madame, monsieur," and then try in English. Or it really helps. You'll get what you need usually.
Exactly. You just say, "Okay, I don't speak your language, but I'm just trying," and they're happy.
Yeah, because a lot of them understand what it's like to try at another language because they probably speak at least 2.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So, Roobens, I want to know, how has traveling around the world, and especially writing from your perspective, how has that changed your idea of yourself as a Black man?
First off, the world is not that racist. People tend to think, everyone's racist, everyone's bad, blah, blah, blah. This is not the case. People are willing to help. I realize I'm way more relaxed, when I'm facing like problems, mishaps or stuff like that. And yeah, always find a solution when there's something coming up, something unexpected coming up. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I used to travel a lot before that, but I would say, yeah, definitely problem solver, I would say.
Okay. And that makes sense for like a skill set, a super valuable skill set, because something will always go unexpectedly when you travel.
Exactly. Always, bus not showing up, train late. I don't know. Bed bugs in the hostel. It happened once. Things like that.
Ooh, oh, no.
Yeah. I arrived at the hostel in Indonesia actually, and just did the check-in. It was in the evening, maybe 7 or something. And I left to have dinner, and when I came back, I saw everyone leaving. I was like, "Hey, what's going on? There are bed bugs in the hostel. There are bed bugs in the hostel. Don't stay." I was like, "Oh, yeah." Took my backpack and I went somewhere else.
Non, c'est pas bon.
No, not at all.
It's really the worst. I've had bed bugs in the States, and bro, it was fucking terrible.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, so there are always things coming up, you just have to find solutions.
Now, from a cultural perspective, I think it's awesome that you, one, know where your peoples are from. So you know that you have Haitian lineage, but you grew up in Paris, France. That's a little bit of complicated history. You travel the world. Have you found yourself thinking about your specific Blackness differently? Do you take more pride? Do you take less pride? Do you seek out more history to learn more about how we're all connected? Do you do anything around that when you go out and explore?
I'm definitely more curious about history in general. I mean, the people's history in general, because everything's connected, You go to India or Sri Lanka or Nepal, those countries, they all speak English. Why? Because the British colonized the place like several centuries ago. You go to the Caribbean islands and most of them speak French because the French people went there. You go to the Philippines and surprise, the Filipinos, they speak Spanish. Why? Because the Spanish went there. So it's like everything is actually connected and logical. So traveling the world, I was like, definitely make me like more proud of being a black person. And at the same time, more curious about the history, like, realizing everything's connected, a few things happened like 300 years ago and it still has an impact today. And that's what I realized when I travel. So it definitely made me way more curious about history because I wasn't much into like history before, but now, always interested in those things.
I can definitely relate, learning about history, specifically when I was in France, but then traveling to regions of Africa and being like, wait a second, this sounds really familiar. Didn't I just hear about this somewhere else? Like, have you been much through Africa?
No, that's a shame. I went to Morocco, I went to Tunisia, and that's it. And I would love to do a trip in West Africa because I speak French, so obviously it's going to be easy for me.
Right.
But and moreover, I know a lot of black people in Paris from either from Senegal or Mali or Ivory Coast, or or Cameroon. So this is definitely something I would love to do.
Yeah, I mean, you've been to the continent, just so people who haven't been there don't get confused. Morocco and Tunisia are on the continent. It's Northern Africa, which has a different history.
Exactly, yeah.
And definitely a different representation when you go there and you look at the current population.
Yeah, this is not Black Africa, more like, but it's still in Africa, but it's North Africa.
Yeah, Western Africa, there's a lot out there. And of course, naturally being in Paris, you're going to meet a lot of people who have roots out there. South Africa's awesome. Congo, I've been out there. They speak French for sure. But then also what's interesting is like vacation spots for French people, for Parisianers, will be like Reunion Island, something that most Americans have never heard of or thought about. It's a regular vacation spot for French.
Exactly. But it was a French colony, so obviously now people go there, either Réunion or Mauritius, just next to it. And over there they speak French as well, and it's kind of interesting because when you look at the locals, it's a good mix between Africa, India, and even a bit of China, a little bit, So some of them look like Indians, some of them look like black people, some of them look a bit like Chinese. But it's interesting, really interesting. And they speak French because it was a French colony.
Yeah, definitely in Mauritius. I can't speak for Reunion Island, but Mauritius is a mix, just like you said, Chinese, Indian, and African. And it's really incredible. The culture is so dynamic and rich. The music, the food, the dance, the markets, it's a lot.
Yeah, never been, but I heard great things. And I know I have friends who are from there, and they showed me pictures. And indeed, the food is amazing. The landscapes, it is awesome.
Oh, yeah. If you're from Mauritius and you're a bass player, I'm a musician as well. Like they have some of the best bass players in the world. If you say you're from Mauritius, I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh, really?
I'll let you handle this. Yeah. Do you know Linley Mart?
Yeah.
Yeah, he lives in Paris. He's Mauritian.
Oh, okay.
And he's a beast. He'll be at somewhere like Duc de Lombard.
Okay.
Or right over there near Châtelet.
Yeah. I see. Yeah. You know Paris, right?
Yeah.
Châtelet. Yeah. Good.
Had to, man. when we link up the next time I'm out there, you'll be like, oh, you know Paris. Yeah, bro. I was a tour guide for a year, dude. I moved 9 times in 18 months.
Wow.
Yeah. So for those listening that might not know, fun fact, go back to my tour guide days. Paris is broken up into 20 arrondissements, which are kind of like little districts.
Yeah.
And so each of them has a different characteristic. You know, some might have older money in it. Some might be younger. The ones towards the center where you see like the Louvre and stuff is more expensive. And it kind of spirals out like a snail shell. So I lived in the 6th, the 7th, the 16th, 16A.
My God.
I lived in the 18th, the 20th, the 19th, the 13th. 13th is like Chinatown.
Yeah,
in Paris.
Exactly. Yeah.
It literally is Chinatown. More French people, more Parisians asked me for directions in the 13th than anywhere else in the city. It was so funny. I was like, bro, this is your city, but I'll help you get to the metro.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was all over. So, yeah, in them streets, bro.
Okay. Great. You're a local.
Yes, a local who learned a lot of history, which is why I've learned to appreciate countries like Haiti for the history and all that they allowed France to do through that history. So let's see, man. I'm fascinated that more young Black French don't travel. What do you think goes on with that? Is it more men than women, or is it just they're used to going through Europe? Why do you think you're so different than the average French person when it comes to traveling?
I mean, I think it's usually with the French Black people, they tend to, on summertime, they tend to go to their, either see their families. For instance, if you have family from Senegal or Ivory Coast or Cameroon, usually you just go back there to see your family. Or sometimes you just go in Europe, the neighboring countries like Spain or Italy or Germany, the UK, whatever. Or sometimes you go to Southeast Asia, like Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, those countries, or the US as well, US and Canada. But as far as more obscure countries, like countries in Eastern Europe or Australia or South America, we don't really see them. Why? I cannot really say. I think I know, maybe because a lot of them, they ask me, but you went to this place or that place. Isn't it dangerous? Or Black people, they're not racist? So maybe the fact that they think every single country is racist is maybe one of the reasons why they don't travel that much. I don't know.
Wait, hold up a second, Roobens. Let's not brush past this point. Are you telling me that French Black people experience racism?
Yeah, of course. Why not? Why wouldn't they?
It's a very interesting point. I'm aware of this. I think a lot of people, when they think of Paris and France, that they don't realize what it's really like to be a person of color there, especially if you're non-American. Like when it comes to sentiment of racism and tension, France is one of the places that has some of the highest rates of growing of racism in Europe. And a lot of people don't realize that. So
yeah,
can we talk about that? Can you tell me about what that experience is like? Because I got to live it and observe it a little bit, but I'd love to hear your perspective.
Yeah, the thing is, honestly, for your US readers, it's more like same-ish, different place. US, France, it's the same, just get in a store, you have like the security guy following you, just checking what you're doing.
Who will usually be Black.
Exactly,
right?
That's the worst. Exactly, usually it's Black. That's the thing. You want to get in a club, you're Black. It's more complicated. A lot of different things. It's very subtle, I was waiting for a friend one day, for a girl actually, and there were two cops coming back to me. Hey, can we see your papers? I'm like, yeah, but what did I do? No, I just want to check. All right. So yeah, they just wanted to check. There were like maybe tens of people in the Champs-Élysées, but they decided to come up to me. Why? Probably because I'm Black. I was the only Black guy in the area. So yeah, those little different things, adding up, and it's like, yeah, basically, yeah, there is racism, like rampant racism. It's not just like in your place in the US. It's everywhere.
It's so important for people to understand that, and I'm so appreciative that you can talk to that experience with with great examples because you've lived it. But people don't realize that.
Yeah,
they really, really don't. So the same concerns that we might have here in the States. Oh, I don't get treated well at home. Aren't they going to treat me worse when I leave? It's the similar concerns that our brothers and sisters and cousins have in Paris. Like
exactly.
that's so important to recognize.
Yeah. I'm telling you, a lot of people ask me, why have you been there? Wasn't it dangerous? Why did you go? And yeah, that might explain why you don't see that many black people traveling in offshore places, I would say.
Yeah, I mean it's a real fear, and it's something that impacts a lot of people's lives, but it's unfounded. It's often not true. You'll find you're embraced and you're accepted and you're appreciated. It's so different.
Exactly. No, people are. I would say 97% of time people are nice and welcoming. So no, there's no problem.
What's really interesting though is that I'll tell you from my experience in Paris, I benefit from racism because I'm not Entier, because I'm not Burkinabe. Yeah, exactly. As soon as they hear either in my accent or if I speak English that I'm American, now that blue passport takes over and now I'm seen as an American.
I see.
Whereas before somebody on the train might ask me if I'm from Haiti or something like that. As soon as they realize you're American, attitude completely shifts.
Okay. You know what? I experienced the same thing in Brazil, actually. Because when I went there, they thought I was a guy from the favelas, And when I was telling them I'm French, wow, complete change of attitude, as you said. Like, oh, you're French. Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, that's kind of sad, don't you think?
It's the state of things. I think it's just important to be aware is that, yes, we don't like racism, we don't like bigotry, but just be aware of your privilege because of things outside of your skin color. So the country that the US is thoroughly kind of fucked up place for us. But because that shines over my ethnicity or, my direct history, I need to be more compassionate and empathetic with my black brothers in Paris because I understand that I have privilege now.
I see. Okay. Interesting.
Same with when you come over here to the States. It's a different sort of, because someone can hear that you have an accent.
Yeah, French accent. Yeah.
As soon as they realize that you are not from Yonkers or from the Bronx in New York, wherever your people are at, you know what I'm saying? As soon as they realize you're not Brooklyn, they're like, oh, he's not one of them. Okay.
I see. Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Right? Because even from a cop's perspective, imagine you get patted down by a cop and you have a French accent. A cop knows he can't process you.
I see. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Kind of funny. When I was in New York, it was so easy to get in clubs because, as you said, they could hear I wasn't from there. And they were asking for the ID. I was always showing up my passport, my French passport. Oh, you're French. Oh, come here. Have fun tonight.
Yeah. It's a thing. And it's important to be aware in Africa, in South Africa, and I will say South Africa because it's a little bit more metropolitan, but I'm seen differently.
Oh, because you're from the US. Okay.
And US is cool. US is popping. US is not from around the corner. You know what I'm saying? So it's that, hey, you're different, you're exotic, whatever. But shoot, man, and you can't do anything about it. I can't take that privilege off. I can only increase my awareness and just understanding and be careful, be more cautious, more conscientious.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I have a phrase that I'll say I coined, but it's like, hey, we like black people, just not the ones we used to own.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah, it might be a new tattoo. We'll see. But like in a simple way, it's a way to describe these situations. If you're Entier and you're in Paris, y'all used to work for us for free, against your will. But if you show up and you're Black American, oh no, we've never had that history. If you're in the States and you're Black American, y'all definitely used to work for us for free. But if you show up and you're from Senegal or Ghana, oh, we don't have that sort of association with you. So hey, stay away from those black people over there. They're dangerous. Don't you watch the news?
Yeah.
But this is the stuff that travel brings to mind. It's just the opportunity to see things from different perspectives. It's what I love about it.
Exactly. And to me, I'm a travel blogger, so I meet more and more bloggers, and it is when you realize there are so many different perspectives, us as Black people, but you also have the LGBT community, you also have disabled people, you also have those over 60, and those are all different perspectives, and it's interesting I like to read like blogs from different people, different backgrounds, different stories. And you start to think, okay, so he goes through this, she goes through that, me I go through this as a Black guy. We all have our real things, at the end of the day.
For sure. And Paris is a really interesting place to talk about differences, because I think they do a good job with dealing with a lot of social stuff that we struggle with in the States. And I think even that alone is eye-opening. And you just meet so many different types of people that come to Paris because it's so popular.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's a big melting pot, And with the history, it was a France colonized so many countries, so now there are people from all over the place coming here. People from Caribbean islands, people from North Africa, people from West Africa, people from Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam. Yeah, the big melting pot now.
Well, it reminds me of the UK and their current Brexit stall right now. It's just... These countries would have never heard of you if you didn't show up there first, and now you're mad about it. That's hilarious. Yeah. The comedy is not lost on me. But before we round out, man, and hear about what you have coming up, do you think that more Black French or more men of color should travel, and why?
Yeah. Black people should definitely travel more. First, to see that the world is not that dangerous. People are welcoming. People are nice with us. And just to change your perspective, be more open-minded, go back home like enriched, with more experiences, just interacting with different people from different backgrounds. It's a good thing for you as a person, and even for the people you meet in the different places. They might have prejudice about Black people, and when they see you, they interact with you, they're like, oh, Black people, they're nice and smart and beautiful. Okay, that's great. So yeah, it's a win-win situation for everyone. So I think Black people should definitely travel more.
I love it. That was a very succinct way. I appreciate that. I appreciate the efficiency with which you use words, my friend, and in English nonetheless. This is the second interview I've done with someone who is Parisian born, who's French, and I'm just like, well, we could do this in French, but we're not going to.
No, in English. I need to practice.
That's why my French doesn't improve, because everybody wants to practice with the bilingual guy. Yeah. Awesome, man. So tell me about the trips and projects you have coming on. You mentioned the website, but definitely talk about it some more. What do you have going on in your world?
So yes, I'm going to Italy in a month. I'm also going to the US actually in July. I'm going to Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
For an event.
For an event? Is it a weed smoking event?
No, not at all. No.
Because I know how you Parisians are. Y'all are dainty with your weed, your spliffs and stuff like that. No. We don't cut that shit out here.
Yeah, but I don't smoke. But no, this is not for weed.
Okay.
So yeah, going there. I plan a trip in South Africa. Not sure yet, but at the end of the year in South Africa. Otherwise, regarding the blog, I'm going to redesign the blog. It needs to look like more professional, because since I launched it 2 years ago, it didn't change. So yeah, when I had like 3 readers, it was fine, but now I have thousands of readers, so I need to change it. And I'm writing some stuff here and there. Yeah, writing a book. So yeah, it's I cannot tell more about it, but I'm writing something right now. Yes, and hopefully it's going to be released at the end of the year. Hopefully.
Got you. So you're out here scheming. I get it. Stay low and shake the gram. I got you.
Yeah.
Got to move in silence.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad you have a trip out to somewhere in Africa, in South Africa specifically, on the books. I think you'll really enjoy the experience. And South Africa is so fun.
Okay.
No matter where you go, Cape Town, Durban, Johannesburg, you're going to have a great time.
Good.
Yes, I feel like I had another question for you, but it's not coming to mind. Let me see. Questions. Oh, what's the best way to get in touch with you? Is it through the blog? Is it through Instagram? Where are you most active if people have questions who listen to the show and just want to get your opinion on something?
Easiest way, I would say by email, I think. So my blog, via the blog is called Been Around the Globe. So you have a contact page and you can send a message or send an email. So it's Roobens, my name, Roobens@beanaroundtheglobe.com. Otherwise, you can DM me on Instagram. So my Instagram is beanaroundtheglobe. And I think that's it.
Dope, man. I appreciate it because you never said the name of your blog, so I'm glad you got it in there.
Thanks.
But we'll make sure to plug it in the show notes and details and things like that. Man, this has been a great experience. I know you say you don't smoke. I don't either, but I definitely do drink. So hopefully the next time we meet up, we can have a couple of glasses of something. I drink like an old French person, so just whiskey in a glass.
Okay.
But that's just a standard Southerner where I'm from, so it'll be a cultural exchange.
Yeah, sure. No worries. I drink as well, so yeah, we can get some drinks.
Perfect. Do you like absinthe, by the way?
Yeah, but it's forbidden in France. You know that?
No.
Yeah. So I didn't have. I mean, I had absinthe, but not a lot of time because it's forbidden here. Because actually, it's too strong, and if you drink too much absinthe, you can get crazy. I mean, that's what they say. So, I cannot say I enjoy absinthe because I didn't really drink it. Never really. I mean, I tried a few times, but you cannot find it in France. You have to go to Belgium in the north. That's where they sell it.
I'm going to be in your city relatively soon. We're going to go to a bar that only serves absinthe. I got you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. All right.
Ouais, on verra, quoi.
On verra.
Man, over here getting doubted by a local Parisian. Okay. I see what it's like. I see the kind of respect I get in these streets.
Yeah.
No, I'm messing with you, man. Looking forward to the time to meet up, to share some stories and talk some more. But this has been a great session. Been great energy, man.
Thank you.
Safest of travels, best of success. And I hope to see you here at the Point again. Yeah,
sure. No worries. Thank you very much. And keep doing your thing. I mean, honestly, your podcast is awesome, and putting some light on black travelers is a good idea, and I really like it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. It's because of people like you that contribute that I even have a platform. So can't wait to get this edited out and sent to the peoples and see what the response is, man. So we'll see you here next time, man. Be safe.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Peace. There you have it, adventurers. A brief introduction to Mr. Roobens Fils, creator, content provider, and author of BeenAroundTheGlobe.com. Make sure you check out his website. It's really dope, and he does a really good job listing out a bunch of travel resources. So all those websites he mentioned where you can find good accommodations, find deals on travel, trains, airplanes, all that sort of stuff is all clearly and wonderfully laid out on his website. So definitely check that out. If you don't want to go that far, make sure to give him a follow on Instagram just because he nailed it on today's session at BeenAroundTheGlobe. Thank you so much, Roobens. And for the record, I went out to Paris, met up with Roobens, had a good time, went to a little traveler, meetup, happy hour sort of deal. And we talked about absinthe in the show. He didn't believe me, but I took him to my absinthe bar. We had a couple of glasses. It was a good time. He was shocked. So I just want to say for the record, Kimono Jack knows the streets of Paris a little bit. Speaking of such, again, journeytoparis.com if you want more information on the upcoming trip in October. It's the only trip on the book so far. So if you want to kick it with Kimono Jack, get a little bit of that yoga in, reset your mindset going into the end of the year with some good vibes, that's the place to be. All the details will be at journeytoparis.com. Make sure you get your deposit in and sign up early because this thing will sell out. Now on to business. I am so happy and privileged to announce today's winner, or I should say last month's winner for May for our passport giveaway. Drum roll, please. Our winner is Mr. Rodney Gray Jr. coming out of South Carolina. His entry is up on our IG at Point Noir Show. Already reached out to him. He's excited, ready to get this done in the next 30 days. And my man's is a chef. His entry was all about using the power of food and culture to connect with others throughout the world. I really thought it was unique. It was interesting. So I'm inspired by this brother. I'm so glad that he took the step to commit to himself just to try something new, see what would happen if he entered our little humble contest over here and he won. So can't wait to introduce you all to him when he comes on our Winner's Circle number 3. Definitely can't wait for that show to drop. And I'm excited for all the things he's up to. So if you want to follow that journey on how he gets his passport of us sending it out, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Point Noir Show. And I have to give another shout out to CJ Livingston at Where's CJ Livin on IG, because he's also sponsoring Rodney for the month of May. So shout out to CJ. He's in process of his 100 days of continuous travel throughout the world, hitting 6 continents. Definitely an exciting and positive brother, and we can't appreciate him enough for what he's doing to help promote travel by literally sponsoring passports. So a lot of dope things going on here at Point Noir. Appreciate you all being a part of this. We're coming up on a year anniversary, so thank you so much to everyone who is new, everyone who's been listening. We're going to have some interesting giveaways this month. So already, if you don't know how to find the review section on iTunes, make sure you check that out. And if you aren't following us on Instagram at Point Noir Show, that's where you want to be so that you can be a part of our giveaways this month, because we got to celebrate. Juneteenth, that's our birthday, hard date to forget, so we got to do it big for the culture. That all being said, this has been another session of the Point Noir podcast. Hope you all travel safely, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you next week. This is Jerry the Third, aka Kimono Jack, signing off.